Hi, everyone. I'm going to give some good shout out to Southwestern during this presentation too. So kind of lucky that we ended up right back to back. But this is our process. A lot of you that already know us or attend Work Group 4 know that it's for the most part just Angela and I. So you'll kind of see a little bit about how our process works and how we really collaborate together as a team. Throughout the different slides, you'll notice that all of our processes, we are kind of this one bubble linked together. You can kind of see that here on this first slide. So we didn't separate our process between work-based learning and JPCM, but instead it was just impossible to do that. Everything we do essentially is together. So this kind of shows the couple of things that we do separately. So over here on the work-based learning side, I'm Macy, the work-based learning coordinator, by the way, if I don't already know you. But for the most part, the only things that I do kind of solo are SG21. I've been working with IT a lot. We're trying to build something into self-service, a Lucian colleague, for the future, to have faculty mandatorily report data as they're entering grades and doing all of that. That's the game plan for hopeful future SG21 reporting. So that's kind of my baby. The work-based learning certificate program. I can't emphasize enough how absolutely brilliant Southwestern's certificate program is. The sustainability of the way that they built it out is just, my mind was blown going through the certificate program. I'm also an adjunct at Southwestern, for those of you that don't know that. So I was lucky enough to be in that first cohort and just learned so much from all the other faculty. One key thing that they do as part of the certificate program is the faculty create their work-based learning assignments, and then if they want, they can upload them to Canvas Commons, which is just so brilliant because not only will they have the Canvas Commons assignments that they are creating as a department and their work-based learning coordinators create, but all of their faculty that are building these assignments in their certificate program they'll just have a whole array, like a collage of work-based learning assignments from all sorts of faculty across disciplines, across campus, that can be shared. So that's something that we're gonna incorporate. We're gonna start our first certificate program is gonna pilot beginning in February. A key piece to that is that I'm gonna not give them the stipends. Part of the MOU is going to be that they have to actually do the work-based learning activity in the class that they create and send in the data. So I'm really excited to see how that kind of immediately embeds into the coursework because faculty will have to do it that way in order to get the stipend. So hopefully that goes really well. I can only hope that our certificate program goes even close to as well as Southwestern's did in the fall. So yeah, that's coming. And then I also wrote an internal marketing grant this year. So we have a lot of awesome CE program videos that went out, really talking about the jobs and career readiness skills needed to enter a lot of our career education programs and careers. Angela, do you want to do JPCM?
Yeah, thanks, Macy. So as Macy mentioned, we have merged our processes because what we do overlaps so much. Macy and I pretty much had to build the Career Center from the ground up. So that includes everything from marketing, going into classrooms to promote our services, outside of the classroom, going to meetings, getting on committees. So really, really pushing that, hey, we exist and we are here to serve our students. So I am in charge of our free job board. We use College Central Network. I also support all job-seeking students, and primarily I serve career education students, but of course I serve all students and alumni. So I have developed some processes to help track that information, and we'll go over that later. I also developed a training for tutoring. We had a collaboration with our tutoring center because since Macy and I are the only people in the Career Center, we aren't able to review all the resumes, check out the cover letters, do everything that you would typically get if you go to the Career Center that is like fully staffed and robust. So we developed this partnership with tutoring, and I put together a training for about 15 tutors to learn how to do resume reviews. And so that has been incredibly helpful for Macy and I so that we can do our other work. So that collaboration is great. I also do our industry interviews and panels that we try to make everything super accessible and of course sustainable. And so we made them into videos. We put them on our website. Our website is awesome. It has all of the work that we've been doing. So those are interviews with industry members that are about 15, 20 minutes long typically. And we ask them direct questions, you know, what are you looking for? What are some soft skills that you prefer for like entry-level positions? Tell us about some challenges in your industry, things like that. So all of those are recorded online, and I try to keep that up. So I try to interview as many people as possible so that we can cover as many programs as possible so that students can learn about their industry of interest. And then we also have a non-credit collaboration. So we've partnered with Adult Ed, and we basically evaluated what programs overlap and how we can partner and bring employers to our students. I also came up with the Job Flash newsletter, so I put that together, and that pretty much includes information about where they can find jobs and jobs that maybe have not been posted on College Central Network. So I'll put the jobs that are open that came across my desk, maybe directly from employers who emailed me. I'll throw those in that newsletter, and I'll also give job tips and maybe some advice for students. So that's been really great. I also came up with the resource packets. So when we kind of like inherited the empty Career Center, they had some outdated packets. And so I put together resources for students, like how to build a resume and cover letter, how to develop your elevator pitch, interview skills, job search strategies, and even wage negotiations. So what we're trying to do is put those packets on our website right now so that students can have access to that at any time. Oh, and then all the career service responsibilities fall on us, and the referral process is between Macy and myself. So I just wanted to throw that in there too. And then Macy's going to go over our overlapping duties here.
So starting with faculty over here on the left, we both work with faculty a lot. Of course, my role is supposed to be a little bit more working kind of primarily with faculty, but again, yeah, we kind of do it all. We both do all the things. We do a lot with student services, of course. We work with counseling. We do have, we're hoping to get a full-time career counselor at some point. We did have one that was kind of working as a career counselor for a little bit there. So hopefully we'll have that position back in the future. But we do have a counselor that used to be in the Career Center that would do assessments and that kind of thing with students. We still, she also goes in and checks our Career Center Gmail. So she'll go in and respond to students who specifically need like assessments and those sort of counseling services. So we do work with faculty to do things like that. We also partner with the different categorical programs. So we've done like presentations and like financial literacy workshops and career resume workshops for different student groups across campus as well. So that's an awesome way that we've been able to collaborate with student services. We present at SLAT, at ILAT. We're kind of just interwoven into the campus as far as being in a lot of different committees and guided pathways, all of that kind of stuff. We do a lot of outreach. We do have a lot of different videos and stuff that are out for both faculty and students to share about our services. I know we've mentioned this a few times, but when we got there, when we first started a year and a half ago, I guess now, there really wasn't a career center or any space where students could just go and get that type of support. So it's been awesome to be able to, we were in the career center, we had just finished building it, and we were there for like 2 days before we got sent home for the pandemic. So we're really excited to have that space in the middle of campus, and to be able to do a lot of outreach in that central office, in a central place on campus. But we've been really lucky to have a lot of support on our campus in order to do all of those awesome things. We do a lot with 21st century skills, building those into faculty's classrooms, a lot of workshops and stuff happening in the classrooms. So we partner with faculty to host career panels in their classes, workshops, all of that kind of stuff as well. As far as students go, we do host all of the like general career center workshops. So if students come to, a resume or cover letter workshop, those are open to all students, alumni, the community, anybody can register and attend any of those workshops. We also have them just posted online in video form, so anyone can just go on our website and watch any of those videos and have access to those resources. We do resume reviews. We will do resume reviews one-on-one if students are preparing to apply to an internship or job. If students are just looking to do a resume review for a class assignment or something like that, then we have a team of resume review tutors that work in our writing center that help with those as well. So we kind of balance that out that way. We do a lot of student engagement, whether that's just getting out and talking to students. We do a lot of presentations in classes, especially the first few weeks of school, just going in, introducing ourselves, talking to students about what the Career Center is and where they can find us, that sort of thing. And then we do 21st century skills workshops and career panels as well that are open to the whole campus. Talking about employers, we do a lot with employer connections, again, asking them what types of 21st century skills our students need. They also, of course, we have like lots of guest speakers coming into the classes, lots of career panels happening. So they share a lot about 21st century skills with our students and what they think is important as students leave Cuyamaca and enter the workforce. They are definitely a part of our career panels and a lot of outreach happening there as well. So this is our student experience map. So the little gold diamonds are where we collect data. So we collect data in a few different ways. We are really working to get everything into SARS is kind of our primary data tracking system at this point for students until we hopefully get the SG21 system up and running in self-service. But for now, SARS is kind of our key tracking system. So students complete the intake form. That would be the first step. So whether a student comes into the Career Center or emails the Career Center or emails Angela or I directly, or if they come up to us during class or come up to us on campus, however we originally interact with them, we will then direct them to the intake form. Once we have the intake form complete, that's already a data collection point right there. And then depending on whether they already have a clear career goal or path in mind or need to explore careers, we kind of have different paths for those. So if they still need to explore careers, they're undecided, they're undeclared, or they're just not sure about the path that they're on, then we have a few different resources. Career counseling is an area where we do refer them to counselors on our campus if they're looking to do like an MBTI assessment or some sort of career assessment like that. If they're looking to do career research, a lot of our counselors will sit down with them and do a full 1 hour long appointment and talk to them about their career goals and that sort of thing. We're also in the process, this is kind of more of a future goal, but we're in the process of developing a Canvas shell right now that will just be full of career research resources and just tons of different information on like how to do an informational interview. Work-based learning assignments will be in there, lots of different links and resources and worksheets for them to complete that might help them to do some career research on their own and figure out how to be prepared to enter the workforce and learn a little bit more about the different careers that they might be interested in. And then, of course, we have work-based learning activities. So we have typically career panels going on all semester long. So whether that's been virtual more recently or before we had them, of course, in person in our large halls in our I building. So we had career panels that were both specific to like each of our career education programs, but we also had career panels that were a bit more diverse as far as a range of careers. So, for example, we were just in the process of putting together a huge humanities panel with different employers and professionals from all different fields within that meta major or ACP. And of course, then the pandemic hit and a lot of that stuff kind of got shifted, but we do hold both the career panels that are discipline specific and that are a bit more general for students who are exploring. We also do tons of informational interviews on our campus. We have those assignments in our campus commons. We're also working really hard to incorporate that into a lot more of our area EGE classes and that sort of thing, hopefully with the certificate program as well. And then we have the career fairs that take place on our campus as well. And in all of those, we would collect data and enter all of those student ID numbers into SARS as we work with students. Then hopefully once they make it through that, then they will have a clear career goal. So we'll go over to the left side of the screen. If students do have a career goal, then depending on whether or not they already have a job or internship in the field of interest, then we would just ask them what types of support they're looking for and go from there. If they still need a job or internship in the field of interest, then we would ask them if they're prepared to start applying for jobs. So whether or not they're confident in the resume that they have, or if they need support. If they do need support, then we have resume workshops, of course, online, and we have them typically in person throughout the semester or live on Zoom throughout the semester. We have the workshop, the resume tutors in the writing center. So through all those different resources, hopefully students will get to where they have a confident resume. And then once they feel good about their resume, then we, Angela or I, will meet with them individually to do a resume review and to share job and internship resources, job search, all of that kind of stuff. And then if a student does get an interview, then we would do a mock interview with them and make sure they feel prepared. If they don't get an interview, then we would go back to sharing job search internships and resources, sending them links to different jobs that are open, all of that kind of stuff. And then hopefully they'll get hired, and then we would have them complete the tracking and SG21 survey, and all of that would be entered into SARS and hopefully in the future self-service or call.
I just wanted to give a little shout out to Miramar too. I met with Alex a while back, and he really helped me develop that student intake form. Learning his process was a game changer for me. And that job placement student intake form, it asks everything we need to know from their name, pronouns, student ID. We can gather all of their information for data purposes and then get it through SARS. Everything's input in SARS. And I also even ask, potential obstacles, if they have a license or in need of a vehicle. If they don't have a vehicle, that definitely affects what we can do. And I act as an investigator to try to find the best opportunity for them. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to Miramar and Alex for that. And I really appreciate your help.
More than happy to be a help.
Thanks.
All right, this one's me again, sorry. So next we have our faculty. So if faculty want support with work-based learning or with any sort of advisory boards, career, anything like that, then typically they will reach out to us. We did used to have a Google form embedded into our website for faculty to complete, but nobody ever used it. So we just kind of decided to stick to email. That seems to be what our faculty like and respond best to. So at this point, faculty email us if they need anything, or reach out to us on campus, and then we'll email them if we see them face-to-face in pre-pandemic life. So basically, they can email the Career Center or either of us, and then we also do tons of outreach on campus. I know I already kind of talked about that, but we're involved in a lot of the different committees that take place on campus. We just kind of show up and do little presentations here and there throughout the semester. We do presentations during Flex Week. We now are going to have the certificate program. So those are a lot of different ways that we're reaching out to faculty and trying to pull them in. Of course, there's a lot of word of mouth also that happens with faculty, where we start working with certain faculty and then kind of spreads like wildfire. So we've had a really positive experience thus far with our faculty really wanting to engage with us and to be really excited to invite us into their classrooms. We're constantly going and doing workshops in faculty classes, hosting career panels, all that kind of stuff. So we haven't had too many hiccups, I wouldn't say, with struggling to involve or engage our faculty on our campus. And then Angela also does a lot with the advisory board and the committee meetings. So working with faculty to further develop those and bring in more employers and new professionals as well. So if faculty do not know the type of opportunity they want to embed, then we will partner with them to discuss potential opportunities and ideas to incorporate work-based learning. I think the certificate program is going to be huge in that. And again, like having our own faculty developing those assignments and then posting them into their Canvas Commons, hopefully in the future will really create a sustainable way for our faculty to be able to get new ideas and just incorporate those new assignments right into their curriculum. If I wasn't potentially in this role on our campus in the future, I think that there would be a ton of resources, hopefully, because of the certificate program. So again, shout out to Southwestern. That was just brilliant, super brilliant. If our faculty do know the opportunity that they want to embed, then they either usually have contacts already or different professionals in mind that they want to invite, or they do not. If they don't, then we'll refer them and connect them to different employers. Usually, regardless, they want us to at least coordinate the activity. So that usually involves like a date and time, doing marketing materials. Some faculty just want to have something in their class with only their students, but some want to invite students from the whole campus or multiple different faculty to be involved. So like, for example, if we're hosting a career panel with the social behavioral sciences, then we'll reach out to all the different faculty, especially faculty that have classes at the day and time, and we'll try to intentionally choose a day and time where the most students are in class with faculty that are on board to bring their whole class, to make sure that students really are coming to the opportunities and that they're engaged. And then we also do a lot of the coordination as far as like setting up the rooms, booking the facilities. We do like thank you notes and gifts for the employers, all that kind of stuff, all the career education swag and that. And then we do tons of student data. We have assessments that we have at every event that students anonymously fill out. And then there's also a sign-in sheet when they come in where they do put their information so that we can input it into SARS and show that they did attend. And then also we have that anonymous data so that we're really just evaluating our programs and collecting their feedback and constantly improving them. And then in the future, of course, a big part of that is going to be ensuring that SG21 data is reported. So hopefully we'll be able to use STARS to do that for these types of activities that are happening outside of the classrooms, and then hopefully use self-service to report everything that's happening as part of a course in the certain sections.
Yeah, we found that partnering with faculty is absolutely critical to our work. We see such a huge difference between just our general career center workshops. So say we have like a resume writing workshop hosted through the Career Center where any student can sign up and join. We found that we typically don't get a large response regardless of how much promotion we do. So when we do partner with faculty and go into their classrooms, we're able to interact with more students that way. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there, that it's so critical to our work. And then with employers, let's see, we'll start at the top. So the job place case manager or work-based learning coordinator is looking for job opportunity or a work-based learning opportunity. So on one hand, if the opportunity is found, the student is connected to that opportunity through email to faculty of that relevant program. So we'll send that email to them. We can directly email the student. Like I mentioned before, we have that job flash newsletter. So I will put that in the newsletter to reach more students. And that newsletter is sent out to all students at this point. We've partnered with student services so that we're able to send that out to everyone. Before, it was just people who have attended our workshops or people who are in the classes of classes that we've gone into and presented at, and we gathered the student data from there, but now it's going out to everyone, so that's awesome. We can also post it on our job list, which is on our website, and we update it with opportunities that come in. And we also post it on social media. So the technology that we use is, of course, College Central Network for posting jobs and internship opportunities. Macy and I use our Google Drive all the time. So the Google Forms we also use for employer surveys. So we'll send those out to employers to understand a little bit more about what they're looking for. Google Sheets is where we house our employer contact list. So Macy and I can go in there and update that as we interact with employers. And then in the future, we'd really like to utilize HubSpot. I've been playing around with it and I really like the functions of it. So in the future, we'll be using that for employer contacts, and Macy and I would be the people going into that and editing and updating and things. So of course, on the other hand, if the opportunity is not, we would apply the guiding principles to that process to minimize the burden on employers. Of course, the job placement case manager and the work-based learning coordinator will contact employers from our internal employer contact list that Macy and I share. I would reach out to regional directors. So I'm working on developing better connections with them, and our recent meeting with them was super helpful, so thank you. And of course, reaching out to faculty and other job placement case managers. So I just mentioned Alex. I've reached out to Sasha, I've reached out to Erica, you know, like, so we just want to make it a communal effort. And of course, again, applying those guiding principles whenever possible. The resources, work-based learning and job opportunities we use would be College Central Network, like I've mentioned, direct emails from recruiters, employer engagement at career fairs, LinkedIn, employer connections and job search, and various job search sites. So that concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Macy and Angela. Any questions for the Cuyamaca team?
Oh, I see that Nicole said, can we get copies of the presentations? Are you talking about the industry interview?
I found them. They're on the link. So for the agenda, sorry, so I found them. So thank you.
Okay.
So I had a quick question. I think it was during Macy's part. Macy, you talked about your outreach to faculty and so forth. And I was just curious, like the process, or like how you guys target faculty. Like, are you going with the people who are more responsive or open to interacting, or is like, do you have a specific process or method for outreaching to faculty?
We do a lot of presentations, like I kind of mentioned, in like huge groups like SLAT, like ILAT, whether those are student services, the leadership teams, or instructional faculty, and then just like our own involvement in things like Guided Pathways and the Equity Minded Teaching and Learning Institute. I think we just build relationships with faculty, and they know who we are, and then they reach out to us. At the very beginning, we definitely targeted career education, and I would say the first semester we were both hired, we really did career panels with every single one of our career education programs and that sort of thing. That's kind of how we got our footing, I would say, until we really felt comfortable with the work we were doing. And then word kind of just spread. We started like posting flyers all over campus about the career panels we were doing, and then faculty started reaching out to us. And then now with the certificate program, I think being able to offer a stipend and to have an asynchronous, completely online certificate program, I think that's going to rope in faculty. I mean, we already have our roster. It's faculty across disciplines. It's a very, very diverse group of faculty. So I think that'll be a really key piece in engaging faculty that maybe have never done work-based learning before, don't know what it is. The stipend never hurts. So
yeah, gaining
thank you. Yeah.
With PE faculty was really, really important for us because they knew us. They knew us through meetings, working with Larry. Larry got to spread the word about what we do. And then once we started recording some of those interactions, like say we did a workshop in one of those classes, we recorded it. Other faculty from other programs could see the work that we were doing and get to know us and basically asked us to come into their classrooms.
Yeah, I would also give a huge shout out to, of course, Larry and George. They're like our biggest advocates, but also our Pat Setzer, our vice president, Jessica Robinson. We get invited to SLAT and ILAT. We don't have to fight to have a couple minutes to speak, and I think that is something that we are so fortunate just to feel believed in on our campus from leadership really across the board. So that has been super instrumental.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I saw Nicole's hand raised first, and then Jason can go right after Nicole.
Yeah, so this is kind of a question for both Southwestern and Cuyamaca. And it might seem like a silly question, but it's something we've been kind of trying to figure out here at Palomar. So pre-COVID, before this whole virtual environment, where was everyone physically housed? So are you guys all part of a career center? Are you guys separate from the career center, and work-based learning and job placement are really working separately? It sounds like both have slightly different models. So it sounds like your work-based learning and job placement are really working very closely together and working with faculty and students, but then separate duties based on whether it's a work-based learning opportunity versus a job. And then Southwestern, it looks like they have more of a faculty focus versus a student focus. And so I'm trying to figure out what that looks like in the realm of then when you incorporate career counselors and all of that. And are you guys very separate, or are you guys all in one big space and students kind of just walk into one central location and are then guided from there?
It's a big question. So Angela and I, the whole first year we were basically in our, with our career education dean in completely separate from student services. But they were in the process of constructing a new career center in the middle of campus. And we were supposed to move there in March. Like I kind of said, we were there for 2 days and then the pandemic hit. But when we go back to campus, we will be in the career center. It's just gonna be the two of us and George, 3 of us in the career center. So I wouldn't say that we are with student services or with counseling there. They're in a completely separate building. If you've ever been on Cuyamaca's campus, down the hill, very far away. So yeah, it's kind of just us, but we weren't before. Well, we haven't been yet, really. So yeah.
And then sorry, this is a follow-up, but you guys mentioned using tutors for help with resume writing. Are these tutors, so in the traditional sense of tutoring can, in order to collect apportionment and all that has to meet these particular areas, critical thinking is one of them. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this falls under that. And then are you collecting apportionment for those tutoring sessions, or are these really just student assistants that you're calling tutors?
George might be able to answer that question better, but many of these tutors are folks who are in master's programs. George, do you want to jump in?
Sure, some of the tutors are, but we also give a large portion of Perkins money to tutoring to compensate for tutoring our students. And so they're compensated for that tutoring. And this is a good way to get value for our money.
So you're actually leveraging your tutors from, let's say, your writing center or your English center. They're just then also getting this special training in resume writing, and your centralized tutoring center is actually providing you tutors, and then you're just kind of giving them these specialized skills.
Correct. Macy and
Okay.
Angela had a training session for the 6 tutors especially assigned to this, and created the workflow so that everybody's on the same page.
Very interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
More tutors now. I think it's like 16 that we were able to train. So
Excellent.
it's really helped.
Great.
Thank
Jason,
you.
Oh, go ahead. I think we didn't let Southwestern respond to how they're housed.
Yeah, so our work-based learning coordinators are housed. They're all adjuncts, but they work within their various schools and centers. But Victor and myself are, as internship, job developer, and job placement case manager, housed in student employment, which is outside of the career center. Again, we work really hand in hand, and our departments are actually next door to each other, so it's not a huge, even though we're separate, we're very close to each other, and we're in our student services building with our counselors. So all of that works really seamlessly for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Genesis. Jason, you had a question?
Well, actually, yeah, I was going to ask Cuyamaca about the tutors also. I thought that was a really interesting idea. And, I'm kind of curious, like, how long is the training that you do for the tutors? What types of things do you cover? And then what kinds of feedback have you gotten from both the tutors or from students?
The training session was about 2 hours long, just the actual training session, but then I gave them homework and they worked on, resumes, they reviewed them, and then they sent them back to me and I reviewed their work. So it was kind of an ongoing process, but the feedback was great. I put together a whole PowerPoint presentation. I'm happy to share it with you. But really well. I'm still checking their work. So before we actually send back the reviewed resume to the students, I'm reviewing each and every resume that comes from the tutors that they've reviewed. So I'm still part of the process, but it's freed up a lot of my time to actually work with job seeking students rather than every single student who is doing a resume. And that could be for a class or just for their personal needs.
I love that you guys are doing that, Angela. In a previous role at a university, when I was running career services, we were very understaffed as well. And so I had student employees that I trained to do the same thing. And it was great because I still did that final review, but they were able to pick up all the small mistakes and corrections. So I didn't have to worry about like punctuation and formatting so much as reading the content. And so it definitely helped.